today's video, we're going to learn how to enter an AP invoice. From the left panel, you can navigate to Quick Add to create a new AP invoice and a new tab. Or you can select Add Invoice from the Accounts Payable menu to keep it within the same tab. First, we'll select the vendor. If the vendor is not available, click the plus button to add a new vendor. Whenever you see a plus button, it means Add New. Next, we'll select a batch. The batch chosen will automatically populate the bank account associated with the transaction, as well as the series, location, set, and other codes in the distribution section of the transaction. We'll enter a description, invoice number, and amount of the whole AP under invoice data. You can always add the amount later after entering distribution lines and checking the total distributed under transaction info to write that number in the amount field. Effective date can be used to past or future date in AP. You can also choose if you wish this transaction to post in the current or next period. The payment type defaults from the vendor setup. Payment type can be updated to record payment by check, wire transfer, EFT, or manual check. Under distribution lines, you'll enter the account number. From here, you can tab through to the account name and description to auto-populate the data from what you entered under invoice data, or you can overwrite it to add a different description or amount for this line item. The Paste Values button is for importing multiple lines of data from our template directly into the transaction instead of manually entering those lines. You can add as many lines as you like, and if you run out of lines, you can click Add a Line to add 20 more. Location, series, and set codes can be used to separate costs. Line items can be flagged with free fields or flagged as assets. You can use the third field to assign a third-party vendor to associate a vendor to a line item. You can also assign the line a tax code. For example, if this is a reimbursement to an employee, but each distribution line represents a charge to another vendor for services, you can enter the vendor ID in the third-party field and then select the appropriate tax code. This will ensure the vendor will receive a 1099 if qualified and not the employee. If the vendor needs to be 1099'd, you can enter the tax code as applicable for their type of income. The trash icon on the right is used to delete unwanted lines that have been entered. Lastly, click Save on the top right, or from the drop-down, you can click Save and Add New to add another transaction. If the transaction is not balanced, you will not have the option to save, but you can save it as a draft and complete it later. The Files button is available for attachments to the transaction once saved. This is where you can add items such as the actual invoice document. Other actions will provide the option to duplicate the transaction or delete it if it has not been posted. Saving a balanced transaction will create an open item. Click Audit to generate the audit report. From here, you can post the transaction, or you can close that window and post it from the AP transaction. This commits the transaction or permanently records it, which will now appear under the accounting reports. Once posted, you can still duplicate the transaction, enable distribution changes, or void the AP. AP items can be voided up until the period is closed. And that's how to enter an AP invoice. Thanks so much for watching and have a great day.